Hey everyone, I wanted to quickly share my thoughts on the Signature Fitness SF-S2 Sprint Demon. I purchased it from Walmart.com and 2 days later it arrived on my doorstep through FedEx. I took a chance on it, not knowing too much about it or the company. At the time, it was listed for $1,000 and came with free shipping. It made a lot of sense financially since the next step up was another $1,000, and on top of that, the freight shipping was going to cost about $500. I'm not a fan of freight shipping since I've had bad experiences in the past with them just leaving my equipment in the street, on a pallet, and in front of my neighbor's driveway. Before I start the review, I want to say that I'm a middle-aged ex-athlete. I'm reviewing this from the perspective of a dad who just works out in his spare time and doesn't have any real athletic aspirations. I just want to keep in shape and not use anything electrical since the energy prices have been rising in my area. Anyways, on to the rest of the review. The Sprint Demon weighs about 150 pounds and was pretty easy to put together. The running deck was already assembled and you can just connect the uprights and the monitor. The trickiest part was connecting the cable tension cord, but after that it all went smoothly and 30 minutes later it was up and running. I like that it's smaller and lighter than other curved treadmills. Since I'm constantly moving it around my garage, I could easily move it around by its little casters and handles. If you're a smaller person, you'll have no problem moving around on your own. I use a treadmill on mats in my garage so there's a slight slope, so my first time running on it I had to adjust the feet so it felt more stable. The treadmill as a whole is compact, so the running surface is even smaller and could feel cramped to some users. The belt width is only 16 inches wide and about 65 inches long. After a few weeks of using it every day, I got used to the size of the belt, but it could have used a couple more inches in each direction. There's not a lot of complexity to manual treadmills, and the same can be said about the Sprint Demon. It's basically a steel frame, nylon rollers, plastic slats, and plastic shrouds. I haven't had to mess with anything after building it, but after a few months of use, I'll start lubricating the rollers to help keep them smooth. I've read online that other users felt it was jerky, but I didn't experience that during my use. The slats are supposed to be thin and flexible to absorb the shock of using the treadmill, but there's more flexion in them than I would like to feel at my current weight. It didn't hinder my runs, but I wish the slats were a little thicker or made from a material that didn't flex as much when I'm sprinting or jogging. They don't have much texture to them, so make sure your shoes are dry before you start running. Signature Fitness has stickers on each of the four corners telling you to always wear shoes during use. I strongly agree with them. The slats aren't tightly spaced and flex a lot, so there's a really good chance one of your toes could get caught between them, so only use this machine with shoes or your Crocs in sports mode. I've never used a curved treadmill prior to this purchase, so when I first stepped onto it I really appreciated the inclusion of a resistance handle. It comes with 7 resistance levels. At first, I used the second highest level to just power walk on the machine, but after a little bit I put it at medium and jogged until I was confident enough to move it to the lowest setting and sprint. The resistance handle really helped me transition from a regular treadmill to a curved treadmill. I've had everyone from my kids, wife, friends, and in-laws try it out, and after a few minutes they were able to take their hands off the rails and walk or jog smoothly. Some picked it up faster than others, but they all agreed it was smooth, and some liked how the plastic slats absorbed the shock during their runs. What they also agreed on was that it was much more difficult to work out on this treadmill than a standard treadmill. It doesn't take long to learn to use it, but it also doesn't take long to burn the legs and take your oxygen. Cardio on this machine is killer. When I was searching for a curved treadmill, I wanted a balance of affordability and functionality, and the Sprint Demon fit the bill, but there are sacrifices. It can get loud when you're sprinting, but no louder than an electric treadmill. That's something to be aware of if you're using it inside your house. Another thing, the machine supports up to 300 pounds, but it only weighs 150 pounds, so it wobbles when I'm running on it because it's so light. I highly recommend you use the Sprint Demon on a hard flat surface so it's more stable during use. The last two things I don't like about the machine is the monitor and the lack of a cup holder. A cup holder would have been nice, but it's not a deal breaker, but the monitor is simply too cheap to put on a machine like this. I only use it to track my time since it displays everything in kilometers and I don't want to do the math to convert it to miles. One thing I would love to see Signature Fitness do with this machine is to release accessories for it down the line. They could treat this like the base model and offer upgrades for it. Imagine if you could buy stiffer rubber slats, faster metal rollers, or an upgraded monitor. I think that would be the smart way to go since the product as it is already really good. The Sprint Demon checks a lot of boxes for people on a budget who don't want to spend a lot of money or don't have a lot of room but want a solid curved treadmill. I recommend it if you can accept some of its shortcomings because at the end of the day, it's a very solid option for $1,000 shipped to your door. There you have it. This has been my review of Signature Fitness's SF-S2 Sprint Demon. I personally really like the machine. Is it perfect? No, but nothing is, and for the price you won't find a better manual treadmill. You could get a nice electrical treadmill, but from my experience of owning home treadmills and working at a gym with 20 treadmills, they always break down and they're a pain in the butt to fix. I like how simple and effective this treadmill is, and I can recommend it for most people in general use cases. Let me know what you think of the machine in the review. Do you agree or disagree with what I said? I'd love to hear your thoughts.